I'm Gail Kraft, and I'm the founder of Kraft, Bravery, and Your Business, a coaching organization that supports entrepreneurs and executives in achieving their goals.
My name's Tashina Beckmann. Empowered to Greatness is my business, and I'm a professional Psych-K facilitator helping to shift the self-limiting beliefs into self-empowering beliefs to get you on the best track possible.
My name is Carole Griggs, and I'm the CEO and founder of Open to Life, a coaching and consulting company for whole being wellness.
And we're here today to talk about what's holding you back. So actually, before we started filming, we had a small little powwow to kind of figure out what exactly would we tell you about what's holding you back. The question for me is, what can we share with the audience that will help you, first of all, identify that something is even holding you back, and then some of the things that you might want to do to kind of get through that block, that stuckedness, I guess you would say. So what are your thoughts, Tashina?
Well, my thoughts and approach to working with clients with Psych-K is that generally when I work with clients, they come to me with complaints about what they're experiencing in their life currently. And so that is a direct reflection of the beliefs that are running at your subconscious level. And so from there, we start asking lots of questions and being open and willing to discover those answers, whether they are pretty or not so pretty, and being willing to continue asking questions if there seems to be a point in time where you get stuck. And in the Psych-K world, you're never stuck as long as you continue to ask questions from many different angles too. So for example, one of the clients that I've been working with has been having anxiety. And through the course of 5 sessions or so, we've uncovered the anxiety stemmed from when he was basically abandoned in his crib several times by his mom. And it has played out by him not being able to go to work and having issues with the personal relationship with his girlfriend. And then just now have we been able to uncover that he's holding on to the victimhood of the anxiety because he's actually trying to punish his parents for that. So it's taken the peeling back of layers of an onion, if you would call it,
right,
to get to that point of understanding. But he's been willing and committed to asking continuous questions. And so through the process, we've been able to shift. And each Psych-K balance allows us to uncover the next piece of the puzzle.
Awesome, awesome. And so what would you recommend to the viewers to do to try and at least realize that they have something holding them back?
Is, like I was just saying, just ask yourself questions and maybe take some notes. And when you come up against something that you're feeling uncomfortable with, ask yourself why and what are you afraid of, because you, Gail, talk a lot about fear versus love, and just start being open to and inviting those answers to come to you, and don't put a timeline on it.
Awesome. Yes, don't box yourself in. What about you, Carole?
I would say primarily I like to use the body as a mechanism to really feel into where the blockage is coming from. So rather than giving it a label, anxiety, fear, worry, sadness, but to actually feel the sensation in the system, and whether that's a lock in the gut or in the heart or in the head somewhere, and to kind of pull it out in front and kind of feel into what that is all about. Another way to do that also is similar to Psych-K, in your questioning thinking, your questioning thoughts, and questioning the validity of them. So I shouldn't do this, and really getting the root of, well, what is it around that? Where did it come from, and why is that sticking? So you can really kind of get to the root of things by either utilizing the body as a sensation and pulling out that sensation and taking a look at it, as well as the actual word or phrase that is coming through the consciousness as well.
So clients come to you because they're frustrated and stuck.
Yes, correct.
Interesting. So clients come to me because they're stuck in their business, right? And the first place we go is their personal life. We go to them first. And that's usually where we spend the majority of our time. We'll work on strategy. That's one of my strengths. But again, we start asking, well, where are you going? Where is it that you want to be? We start visioning the 5-year projection. And then what is holding you back, right, from getting there today? And if it was the perfect world, so here's something, this is my favorite thing to do. So imagine there's the perfect world. There's no money stopping you. There's no technology stopping you. If you want something, it will just materialize. What would your future look like? What is it that you want to be doing in 5 years, let's say? And then what you need to do is take a look at, so what is happening in my life today that is not propelling me forward to that perfect world? Because quite honestly, you don't need technology, you don't need the trappings that you think you need to get where you want to go if you truly, truly want to get there. It's quite possible. So it starts with business, but always ends up with the person. So it's like my Underwoman project, right? So one of my clients came to me because she was frustrated with work, she wanted to quit. And I have a rule, if you want to quit, we first fix where you are now before we move on, because you're just taking you and the attitude and the baggage with you. So we wanted to shift her energy and shift it quickly. So I told her to go and purchase the sexy underwear, something she would never wear in a million years, and wear it to work under her clothing. And she did. And what that does is, because of what she's thinking, her energy comes in the room before she does. No one knows what that energy is, and she's sitting there with this little secret. Within 2 weeks, her CEO asked her to be part of his next big venture. He wanted her to be with him. And now she's still working there. She has a promotion. She's working with clients. She's loving her job.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really, really awesome. So it's the individual first, and then if she wanted to move forward, then she's in a place where we can strategize, right? And get out of that particular situation. But we first have to be open and willing and able to strategize. Otherwise, you're going to because I see it all the time, just bring yourself to the situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So do you have some other examples that you could share with us of clients who are come to you and they're not sure what's holding them back, and how that gets uncovered, other than questioning?
Other than questioning. Well, we use the actual processes of Psyche to do the belief change. So literally what happens is, when we're doing a balance between the left and right hemispheres of the brain, new neural pathways are being created during that time. So it's actually moving the person from a state of being stuck into a state of action to change the effect that's happening outwardly in their life for holding them back. And so with those processes, it moves forward very quickly so that the person doesn't have to stay back. And then again, when we get stuck, then we invite space and we invite answers. And it takes sometimes for people to just be quiet for a few moments. And we're always tending to look for answers outside ourselves when really the answers are inside. So when you're thinking about what's holding you back, instead of looking for those answers in your friends or your spouse or your children or the media, I would openly invite you to just take some time to yourself, maybe light a candle, close your eyes, and get in touch and ask internally what's holding you back. And those answers will come if you give them space.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What about
Yeah, and to play off of that, kind of going inside, for me, one of the things, coming back to the body scan, is feeling into every piece of the body. What is the body trying to articulate, trying to say? What is a yes, what is a no, what feels good, what doesn't feel right, and am I moving in alignment with that, or am I moving out of alignment? And the body will tell us. So if we can get in touch with the body, in what areas there's something that's happening and it's not free flowing, then that can give us a lot of clue as to what's going on. And one thing with a client that I recently did, actually yesterday on a Skype call, we did a body scan, and she was feeling a lot on her heart, like a heaviness. And so she sat with it for a little while, and you kind of pull it up and out in front, and she describes what she sees, describes what it feels like, and she was describing like this cyclical, almost like a tornado inside of a circle. And through conversation, it came out. She was toiling between her truth and her parents' truth, her parents' truth, what they think that she should do and what she feels she should do. So it really kind of came clear as to what was going on for her when she could pull it up and out and get that energy out of her system, and then take a look at it and really see what's there.
Well, that's one of the exercises I do as well. I literally take that belief from behind your subconscious mind and pull it forward and take a look at it and have a conversation with it. And you're doing the same thing in a different manner, is just having a conversation with that belief. And it has to be a loving conversation, so however it works for you, this is still part of you. The belief is who you were, and it is your history. So you don't want to try and get rid of your belief. You don't get rid of the belief. You build new pathways.
Correct.
And creating an understanding of the belief.
Yeah, and you're it's still there, and it's like having a cup of tea with your 1-year-old. You know, you wouldn't pull that belief out and want to like hammer it and get rid of it and push it away and wish it never would come back. Like, you wouldn't do that to a 1-year-old that's crying. You would pick it up and try to hold it tighter and be curious and what's going on and what do you need me to know and what's here that I'm not quite seeing, and really treat it from that perspective, because it is a part of you that's looking to be fully integrated that hasn't yet been integrated.
Perfect. And one of the things that I also work on, going on the same pathway, is when you're finished with that conversation, right, you then give your belief permission to stay, but stay in the back, because that belief is there to protect you, right? And so stay, and when I consciously need you, when I need your protection, my conscious mind will call you forward. Right? And so you just stay there, and if I need you, believe me, I promise, I'll call you. And that actually relieves the fear of letting go, because you're not really letting go. You're saying, if I need you, I will call you. In the meantime, you just sit in the background and wait for me. So it's a way of honoring that your belief had a role, and there's a potential for it to have a role in the future. You don't know. So one of the beliefs, I believe I talked to you about it, I don't believe I talked to you, yes I did, that I actually worked on myself, and one of the things I had to do, because it was a belief of unworthiness, and there's a long story behind it, but when I realized the root of that, where it came from, it really was there to protect me. It absolutely protected me, and my behavior, because of that belief, was amazingly, it was bad, it was pretty bad. But my behavior also had a purpose at the time. But once I realized what the root cause was and where it came from, I was able to put the belief in the background and tell that and the behavior, when I need you, I will absolutely call you, because it's pretty strong behavior. But I don't need you to pop up in inappropriate times, right? I need you when the situation calls for it. So it's that type of, some beliefs you don't want to come back, but you want to always leave that door open so that you create a cocoon of safety, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think, a belief typically shows up like you've experienced. It showed up and we gripped it at some point, and really it's what we identify as, what we identify with. And so if I'm identifying with unworthiness, I think is the word you use. If I identify with unworthiness from usually it's some conditioning from our past in some way, shape, or form that will then manifest, but there's a certain point where we can actually feel it holding us back, and there's a certain point where we actually realize it no longer serves us. It no longer gives us anything. It may give us something temporarily, and then we want to be the victim. It can be tricky, but to kind of uncover it as, wow, thank you for helping me when I needed the help as a child or whatever, and I no longer need you. Thank you for coming. And you can stay as long as you would like to stay, and you can go whenever you'd like to go. That releases the grip, because anytime we resist and push away or grip and pull tighter, whether you're pushing or pulling, you're still giving it power and attention. And there's still some sort of an identification with that belief, and until there's kind of a loosening of it, the belief won't leave.
Right. Right. Exactly. It's pretty amazing stuff.
Yeah, and with the Psyche approach, we're always working in the direction that the individual wants to go. So the focus isn't so much on, spending a lot of time mulling over and really reliving the past trauma or the past beliefs that no longer
That's okay.
The beliefs that aren't serving you. It's really about just going, okay, that's what it is, but this is really what I want instead. And then we go into the action process of balancing for the new belief to be operating at the subconscious level as that individual's truth.
And I think there's a lot to be said about that, in terms of the difference between therapy, psychotherapy, and coaching. Way different,
Action.
There's an interest, from what I understand in terms of our three, coaching practices, that there's an interest to kind of figure out, okay, this is the story that went along with the belief. We can give it recognition, and now here we are today, and what are we going to do with this belief right now, and not dig into the story so much from the past, but the belief in this moment, and what are we going to do as we move forward?
Exactly, because the past is a story. It doesn't exist anymore, just like the future doesn't exist. You know, the only thing that really, really exists is this moment right now. And when I talk about consciously making choices, the more you are aware about where things are coming from and why, the more you're capable of making conscious choices and not just reacting to a situation. We all react based on emotions, because we emote what is inside of us, and so we want to be sure that the emotions are the right ones for the time, and they're emotions that we want to portray to the world, that are serving us, that are pulling us forward, that are doing the right thing for yourselves and for those around you. So folks, if you really want to question whether or not you have a fear or a belief that's holding you back, just ask yourself whether or not something you're doing makes sense. Ask whether it feels right in your body, right? And then ask where it is that you want to go. And just keep asking yourself why, until you actually get to what it is that is holding you back, and just flip that story to the one that you want it to be and start living that way in an active way. And it's action that makes the difference.